morning, November 24th. Thanksgiving week is here. Happy Thanksgiving week. That's what it is. This is Art City Now. So glad you were with us today. My name is Vic Faust. Producer Ryan's alongside this morning. Hope you guys had a good weekend. As always, jump in on the show. Let us know how everything went. If you feel like it, that would be great. You can always give us a call as always. Phone number there, 855-282-8255. And Ryan, as I ask you as we start the show, are you saying I should try the 5G one when it comes to the internet, or go back to the other one first?
Try the 5G one.
All right, we'll try that. Of course, we are picking up and putting it down when it comes to our internet service. So fun. Happy joy on this Monday morning. Lots to get into. SLU soccer, the men, they picked up another win over the weekend. They're heading to the Sweet 16. Congrats to them on everything that they have going on. Also, the Chiefs keep their season alive. Holy moly. They had the Colts right where they wanted them the whole game. Not. They found a way to win at the end. But they didn't cover their point spread. That point spread was 4 points. What did the Chiefs win by yesterday? Oh, yeah, that's right. The point spread was right there in the mix. I'm like, interesting. Then other interesting NFL games. Are the Cowboys, are they back? I don't know. They beat the Eagles last night. Nobody was expecting that to happen. But they did. Missouri football. They weren't expected to win, but not maybe lose like they did. Just it's kind of been a season of what coulda, shoulda, woulda been when it comes to the Missouri Tigers. We can get into that as well. I'd rather be Missouri than Illinois. That's for sure. Illinois is losing and lost to an unranked losing team. That's terrible. But just because somebody else isn't doing so well doesn't mean you should compare yourself to teams that are losing. You should compare yourself to the teams that are winning and beating you. So that's going on as well. Yelp for the St. Louis area put together a list of people in the St. Louis area's list, not from outside the area, but people chiming in the St. Louis area for the top 25 restaurants in St. Louis. And most of them, as I was looking on the list, are good as it is. I mean, I don't even know if you could do a 1 through 25, maybe just say the top 25 and then go from there. So we'll get into that too. The weather is going to cool up. We got today. It's decent today, kind of like how it's been. And then kind of colder tomorrow. Well, a little warmer tomorrow, 60s for the high tomorrow. And then the rest of the week, it looks like highs in the 40s, upper 40s, maybe 50. It starts to get a little bit more chilly. And then it's like winter is here. Shout out to St. Mary's Southside for you, my friend Rye. We cover everything St. Louis here.
Yes, sir.
The high school football team takes care of business. They beat Parkway North fairly handily. They move on. I mean, they look like the state forerunners here when the Final Four left into the Final Four. First time in a few years that they've been back. Do you hear people talk? I mean, are you that far removed? Are you still somewhat close with the school in regards to some of the things that are happening there?
Somewhat. I kind of dip in and then.
I love to see it just from the sheer fact is it was just a couple years ago that we're talking about St. Mary's not even being a school.
Yeah.
And they found a way to make it work. They've got their attendance back up. They've got a very good football program. They had a very good soccer program in soccer season. And it just looks really good right now. So that's your alma mater. So, yeah, be proud. Be happy as you are. Anything that's going on in the St. Louis area, let us know. Of course, we love to talk things over with you from that standpoint. And the other thing is this. If there's something that you want to promote as well this week, please let us know. We're here for that as well. Also, if there's a charity that you want to promote, if somebody did something good and you want to give them a shout out, you can do that here. You can give us a call as well. That's 855-282-8255. Once again, that's 855-282-8255. Let's jump in real quick when it comes to Missouri. Wrap it up. The Missouri football team loses at Oklahoma. Had all the opportunities in the world. Once again, their defense showing just how dominant they can be. But you got to have an offense that at least moves the ball sometimes. And in the first half, Missouri was doing that. But the running back had 0 yards in the second half. And that's not because Oklahoma's defense was that great. Their play calling is boring. It's remedial. There's different ways and formations to still run. The best running back in America. And in the first half, he was running and he looked good. And then all of a sudden, at halftime, it switches and you can't do anything anymore. Missouri falls to 7-4 on the season. They've got Arkansas this week. And, you know, it's on the road. I'm just telling you, you don't want to lose the team. You don't want seniors going, okay, I'm looking at what's next. I mean, you got to finish off strong. It's another rivalry game. You have dominated and owned Arkansas in previous years. It's time for Missouri to get the job done. And if Missouri fans are really, really, really worried, if you were, or if you were hoping that Eli would leave on the other side, don't look for that to happen. I don't see it. I don't have any inside sources on this. I just know that Eli and his family really like Columbia. His family being his wife and multiple daughters. So they're going to have to make some changes at that. They got to find a special teams coach. The person who is doing it now is not up to par, just not up to speed. It's not working. And maybe it's because he's also the tight ends coach. He's done a pretty good job with tight ends, clearly. But the special teams is not working. Has proven to be one of the worst special teams units in America. Bad. From punting to kicking to blocking. Part of it's on the defense when you give up the fake punts, but that has happened this year as well. So Missouri, what was going to be and could be a really, really, really special season. And then you start with what expectations were. I know I get that. And they're right around where the expectations were at the beginning of the year. But they don't have an offense. They don't. And will they have an offense next year with the same quarterbacks? I don't know. I mean, Zollers gives you the most hope for at least, okay, he was young. He could make a lot of progress in an offseason, but Bo Prabula's been around for a little bit.
They paid him $1.5 million.
Yeah, that's the going rate. People don't realize it. For a quarterback in the Power 4 conferences now, it's 1.5. My friend's son.
He didn't even start. Like, that's just.
What do you mean he didn't start?
Like, he didn't start at Penn State.
Yeah, backup. But that's what the going rate is, especially when you need a quarterback. The top two quarterbacks that were coming out last year, if people remember, it was Mendoza from Indiana and Prabula. Missouri offered them both.
Yeah.
Mendoza ended up taking the Indiana offer and going to Indiana. And then Missouri got Prabula. Those were the two guys. And that's what it takes. How about this? Purdue's not going to a bowl game. They paid their quarterback $1.5 million. That's how much money is out there, at least right now, to try to get quarterbacks to come in. It's insane. It is absolutely insane what is happening right now in college football. But Missouri's they got to figure that out. And as we said on our post-game show on, what was it, Saturday, I think, who was it? I can't remember. I think our Chris Pelican, our host, was talking about one of his friends saying that he'd had a text or something from a donor saying the worst money this donor spends every year is on NIL. It's because people keep showing up and they want money, but what are you really getting out of it? But in other schools, other colleges, they are. So Missouri's got to find a way to make that work. And you got to keep paying because all these other schools are coming up in paying as well. So we're there. Blues play tonight as well. They continued their road trip. They had a good win on Saturday against the Islanders, one of the better teams that they'll play on this trip. They won. They look good. They were up 2-0. They held on to win 2-1. And that's exactly what they needed. They needed to somehow, some way get back on, get a win. Do you know that the Blues were the only team in the last 2 weeks to not have won a game? The only team in the NHL. But they did it, and they're still not that far off, so that's a good thing. We talked about it being, and we'll get into the Blues this hour as well. Blues in action tonight against the Rangers in New York. They've been spending some time there in New York. Then they're in New Jersey on Wednesday night before coming back to St. Louis Friday and Saturday with 2 home games. Actually, it'll be Friday, Saturday, and Monday when they come back into town. So if you want to get a chance to check out the Blues over the holiday break, you'll have that opportunity. 2 nights from now, you also could get to Enterprise. You can get some of the last tickets available over at the Guns and Hoses event. That's going on. That's something you guys want to do. Sorry, Ray, I was still trying to hook up our internet. Nothing on both of the KFNS parts. That's all right. We rock on, we roll. What else is going on for you guys today? The weekend plans. The Thanksgiving Day rush is here, or Thanksgiving Day week rush is here. We've told you already, I don't know how they figured this out, but AAA is expecting record travel nationwide. And usually what they go by in that is people traveling more than 50 miles to see friends, family, whatever it is. They expect the airport's busiest day to be yesterday for the entire week, because it is a week celebration. You know, a lot of college kids were back in town as well for the weekend. Lambert officials say that increase should be manageable as long as travelers plan ahead. 24,000 passengers moving through security yesterday at Lambert. They were building yesterday as the local stations were out there, but smooth, fairly smooth. Crowd said, or at least people who were traveling said it wasn't overly crowded, thought that it might be worse than what it was, but it wasn't. And then, this is a good one. Great advice from a passenger. And I'm not trying to call you out, but I'm trying to call you out. If you're one of these people who gets up and waits till it's your turn in line, and then you go to your wallet, or then you go to your purse, and then you take time to take your papers out, and then you take time to find your IDs, that slows it down for everybody. This passenger said, having your ID prepared is huge. You walk up, you show it. You don't have to fumble around. Now, I know if you have bags, it can be difficult, but it moves faster for everybody. The passenger said, quote, having my ID prepared is huge. I missed a flight last time because I had to use a birth certificate and other identification, and it held me back in security. Yeah, I guess so. Some passengers said they've even doubled up on bookings to avoid cancellations. Interesting. Quote, my sister booked 2 flights because she thought one might get canceled. Okay. Quote, it's super important for me to be with family. Another traveler shared, as we've gotten older, we're not in the same house anymore. Getting together around the holidays has become really, really important. And of course, Lambert officials are saying, just pack your patience, please, as you're traveling. Check with the airlines before you're heading to the airport, and plan parking, plan for longer parking, plan for it to take maybe a little longer, and also plan for longer lines. They say, unfortunately, it's going to happen because there's so many people out. And it makes it better for everybody. Do your best to move forward and see everything that can possibly happen. Okay. This is Art City Now. Vic Faust here, producer Rye alongside. Just about 6:25 on a Monday morning, November 4th. I thought this was a funny story. Not funny, but I'm like, oh, that's a headline I hadn't seen in a while. A suspect's been arrested and is now in police custody after breaking into a convenience store in St. Charles County. And guess what they were stealing, Brian? Guess what they wanted to steal? Did you see the story?
No. And where they broke into?
It was at a Circle K in St. Charles County. That's all we were told. Police shared a photo on their department's Facebook page showing a shattered entrance door. Somebody really had to get in there. They got a misdemeanor because they were stealing beef sticks.
Beef sticks?
That's it. Beef sticks.
Yeah.
The beef sticks were being stolen. They got the guy, and it was a guy. So that's a misdemeanor for stealing beef sticks. Guy got the munchies. It happens. I understand. Here's what happened, though. He committed a felony with the break-in and then a misdemeanor by taking the beef sticks. I laugh. It's not funny, but you're going to commit a felony. You're going to bust open a window just to get some beef sticks. I don't know, man. That's bad. That's just bad. I know you may be in a desperate spot, but for some beef sticks? Really?
Crazy.
I don't know. I don't see it. We've also got a charity event to promote. That's coming up at 7:30. We're going to have Charlie Metzger in studio talking about the 12 days of bar hopping, the 12 bars, excuse me. He works with the St. Louis Hero Network that does a phenomenal, and I repeat, a phenomenal job when it comes to charitable work all throughout the St. Louis metropolitan area. It is the 12 Bars of Charity for St. Louis 2025. It is December 13th from 2 to 6 o'clock. Charlie will join us live in studio today just after 7:30 to promote this event and other things that are happening throughout the St. Louis area and all the work that he and his group does. It really is phenomenal. The amount of money that they're raising, that they're helping with in the community. And we'll tell you about some of those things that are going on when we have Charlie coming in. Because I've always talked about, I've lived in a variety of cities, smaller cities, middle cities, big cities. And when it comes to giving, St. Louis is unmatched. It really is. So many people give so much money here to a variety of causes, and we're not some major metropolitan area. We're just not. But we're a giving community. And there are a lot of groups and organizations and people in need that St. Louis is able to do a good job with and help people out. So Charlie will join us for that coming up, the 12 Bars of Charity, December 13th. I'm looking forward to promote Charlie and what he does. Charlie Metzner of the St. Louis Hero Network, firefighter as well. Guys, we still got coming up. Like I said, we'll talk about, we got to promote St. Louis U Soccer. They're into the Sweet 16. You got the men's basketball team from SLU, men's basketball team from Mizzou. It's Thanksgiving Day week. We'll get into a little bit of the NFL. The Chiefs continue their playoff push with a big victory over the weekend. They beat the Colts at home yesterday, barely. End of the game. They find a way to get it done. Literally at the end, I thought the Chiefs were going to lose, but they got it done. I know there's some Cowboy fans out there. Cowboys upset the Eagles last night. I don't know. I don't believe in the Patriots, who are still rolling right along after they barely won yesterday, too. So lots to get into. Your local news headlines as well, plus the Blues back in action tonight. We'll talk all about that coming up. If you ever want to give us a call, you can do that, too. The phone number is 855-282-8255. Once again, that's 855-282-8255. I'm Vic Faust, producer Rise alongside. This is Arch City Now. We'll take a quick break and we'll come back right after this.
Please visit
Facebook and YouTube. Once again, X, Facebook, and YouTube. Grateful that you join us when you do each morning. Be sure to make sure that we are in line with everything that's going on. Right, I had to give you an update too. I was asking you to help me with my computer, and I'll look at you. You already made it work. I switched chairs on you, and you still made sure that we were looking good on the camera. X, Facebook, and YouTube. Once again, X, Facebook, and YouTube. If you want to give us a call, you can do that as well. The phone number there is 855-282-8255. Once again, that is 855-282-8255. We are your Lou information station. We are live and on demand at louinfo.com. Talked about the Blues. They play tonight, 6 p.m. They're in New York with a skate with the Rangers. Blues are 7-9-6 on the year. The Rangers, who they play tonight, are 10-11-2. So the Rangers have a couple more points, but certainly no. They're in second to last place in the Eastern Conference. They have 22 points. The Blues have 20 points. So it's a battle of two very equally matched teams. Blues should, you hope they can go ahead and win this, but they play at 6 p.m. tonight. They really looked good in their last game. The game before, they were up 2-0, looked pretty good. So the road trip has a chance to end on a very positive note if they can win tonight. Wednesday night, they finish off their 5-game road trip at New Jersey. New Jersey now came back to the pack a little bit, just 27 points. So you have a bunch of teams who are bunched in right now. Colorado is just phenomenal, by the way. If you haven't looked at Colorado, 16-1-5. 16-1-5. Dominance. Absolute dominance. They look really, really, really good in some of the things that they've got going on. So look forward to the Blues tonight, getting some action done. Once again, Blues at 6 p.m. Wednesday, another 6 p.m. game, and then they're back in St. Louis next weekend. Next weekend coming up, that is, which is this weekend. The next Friday and Saturday. They'll take Sunday off, and then they have Monday there. 7:40 on this Monday morning. I had to ask, just because it's not my cup of tea, but Sexy Red. St. Louis I didn't know Sexy Red. I've heard the name. I just didn't know a lot of the music, but Sexy Red from St. Louis area was in town. By the way, she's the 2026 Grammy nominee. And she was in town yesterday helping hand out some turkeys in North County. The event that she was a part of. She said she loved giving back. The event that she was working for and or with were the owners of Prince Beauty Supply. Once again, that's Prince Beauty Supply, trying to do something good for the community. She was hosting out turkeys for the turkey drive, and Prince Beauty Supply has done that for 12 years. Sexy said, quote, "I'm out here giving out turkeys to the city because I love my city and I love giving back." So Sexy Red she's a song featuring
Drake.
Really? I didn't know that.
Drake loves her, man. I don't know.
What is,
There's a lot of lore
you do
Sexy Red. It's crazy.
There's a lot of what?
Lore.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it's a lot of lore to her.
How do you like I said, with music, food, fashion, everybody has different interest. It just, you like something or you don't. It's all right. And it's not wrong to not like somebody. It isn't. It is what it is. But Sexy Red is from the St. Louis area. I don't know what you would call her best song or most famous song is, or the one that's gotten most play.
I don't know. She's just been on a run, man. She's just been on a run.
More power to her, huh?
Yeah, she's just been on a run of just song after song. It's just been amazing amount of views. So there's an audience for her, I guess. So.
Well, she was in town trying to help out. So, we need as many people promoting St. Louis as we possibly can. I mean, handing out turkeys is one way to do it. So Sexy Red was back in the Lou yesterday doing that. 6:43 is the time. I found this interesting when it comes to a list that was put together. This was the best reviews from Yelp's elite squad members from August of 2024 to August 2025. This was a year-long survey. The best of the best restaurants ranked high both in volume and quality of reviews. The selections showcase a variety of restaurants, from barbecue and pasta to upscale fine dining. While many of the top selections are located within the city of St. Louis, some other spots stretched as far as St. Charles County. And I can tell you this. As much as St. Louis can do better in certain areas, St. Louis metropolitan area, and as many situations that could be better, one thing we do well, we have a lot of good restaurants. We really do. And people that come in from other cities, I hear them talk about restaurants and food in the St. Louis area. Seriously, I do. And when it comes to these restaurants, many of these, they put them in an order from 1 to 25. I think they could be very much intertwined. I think I would have rather seen it as here's 25 best instead of putting them in rankings. But here you go. We'll attempt to have some of these. Now, I think it was the top 25. I'm looking for the others here as we do this because I found, I think I found the top 21 and I was like, wait a second. Where are the rest of the best restaurants that we should have? I forgot that I've got internet again, so I can pop that back up. I didn't have that earlier, which was causing some issues, but now we're good to go. We're good to go. So start thinking about some of your best restaurants that you would have on the list. You could jump in with what you think should be on the list or what your favorites are. And I like this because it was a year-long survey that Yelp did. A year long. They've put some time into that. Number 25 on the list is Menya Rue on Hampton Avenue. Forgive me, I hadn't heard of it. Guess I got to check it out if I haven't. 24, Anthoninos. That's on Macklin Avenue. Anthoninos. On 23, or coming in at 23, on Gravois in St. Louis is Hatched. 22, Sydney Street Cafe on Sydney Street. Yeah, 21, Wright's Tavern on Winedown. That's in Clayton. The Fattened Calf, Jefferson Avenue in St. Louis.
I've heard of that.
Oh, yeah. 19, you've got Pizza Oli, wood-fired pizza. That is on South 12th Street in St. Louis. One of my all-time favorites, Annie Gunn's. It's my favorite steak. I haven't had it in a long time, but I need to get back out there. Annie Gunn's coming in at 18. I'm surprised, actually shocked that Annie Gunn's isn't higher than 18 on this list. Out on Chesterfield Airport Road as you come into the valley. Ho, ho, ho. If you can get a reservation and get in there, you'll enjoy it. What a fantastic place it is. 17 is Louis. Okay, Louis on Demond in Clayton. 16, Napoli Brothers out in Chesterfield. They do a really good job. And the thing I like about their pasta and their food really is good. Like if you get pizza, they have the tiny little pepperonis. They're the little circle ones. Have you ever seen those?
Yeah, I remember.
Those have been a big hit for people.
I think Charlie brought in some Cafe Napoli pizza.
Did he?
Yeah.
Nice.
So, it was good.
Cafe Napoli Pizza. This is Napoli Brothers. They're the family that owns Napoli, and they've extended out. Talk about a family that's done very well, extending Napoli, and they're all good. They really are all freaking good. Speaking of pizza, coming in at 15 on list, Katie's Pizza and Pasta on Clark. Yeah. Katie Clark. Katie has done a phenomenal job. If you haven't look her up. Check out her story. It's been second to none. Really fantastic what she's been able to do and put together with her restaurants. Number 14, The Gramophone on Manchester Avenue in St. Louis. I wasn't familiar with The Gramophone. I need to check it out. 13 is Sado Asado on Shaw Avenue. I'm seeing a lot of St. Louis City vibe on this list. A lot. Number 12, Basso in Clayton. Another really, really good place over there by the Amico sign, Cheshire Inn. 11. It kind of a little bit of a turn. Taco Buddha. Not necessarily all of the really nice sit-down restaurants. It is nice in there, but Taco Buddha on Manchester Road in Kirkwood, it's not far from here. It's less than a half mile from here, right? Taco Buddha is. Number 10, yeah, one of my all-time favorites in St. Louis, alongside Annie Gunn's. It is Olive and Oak on Lockwood in St. Louis, kind of over there in Webster. Just a marvelous, wonderful place. They have a French dip beef au jus sandwich that is the best I have ever had. Best. Their fries, like they say, are to die for. You said that. Crunchy on the outside, very soft and kind of melty on the inside. Yum, yum, yum. Number 9, Yellow Belly on Lindell in St. Louis. How about 8, St. Charles checking in. First Capitol Drive, Saucy Pasta. Number 7, Corner 17 on Delmar Boulevard. Number 6, Balkan Treat Box on Big Ben and Webster Groves. Yeah, Balkan got recently recognized as being a top national restaurant by a national group or organization. So congrats to the Balkan Treat Box. Okay, I'm not familiar with this. Number 5, O and O or O plus O Pizza on Lockwood in St. Louis. I don't know about that. Number 4, Polite Society on Park Avenue. Number 3, Bowood by Niche on Olive. That's in the 4600 block of Olive. Number 2, Pappy's Smokehouse comes in at number 2. So you see, you kind of got, like I said, barbecue, you've got pizza, you've got fine dining, but Pappy's coming in at number 2, of course, on Olive Street in St. Louis. Which leaves number 1. If there anything that you guys absolutely love that is not on there that you think should be, because this is interesting. Number 1, Telva at the Ridge on North Gore Avenue in Webster Groves. Once again, Telva. So it's fun to talk through some of these things, depending upon where your favorite restaurants might be in the St. Louis area, or if you're trying to give shout outs to some of those. But you see where they are. I have no issues. I mean, with the list. I mean, it's once again, restaurants, how they come up with it. I guess it's people who use Yelp too. I don't know. Yeah. I love the chat line. Vic, you look tired. Did you party? I got 0 sleep last night, and that's why I look like S-hit this morning. I got 0 sleep. Yeah, and I forgot my hat. If I had my hat, I'd be pulling it down all over the face right now, but I don't. I didn't have a hat. I thought about going to a gas station and buying a gas station hat. I did. I was like, damn, do I have time to go get a hat? No. Also, Donna checking in this morning. Cowboys should not have won that game last night. Eagles got ripped off. That coming from an Eagles fan. I don't know how the Eagles got, quote, ripped off. They were up 21-7. I just thought they didn't do their job coming down the stretch. And again, there's just real no dominant team in the NFL except one right now. There's one. And they're called, and I'll still call them that, the St. Louis Rams. The LA Rams. They look good. They look complete. They really do. That is the most complete football team right now. From coaching all the way down to players. And now I do not like the Rams. I've never liked the Rams because of Stan Kroenke, but I love Stafford, to you, my friend Rye. And now they've got the thicker kicker, Harrison Mevis from Mizzou, as their place kicker. And I love seeing the former Tiger get his first action with the Rams and doing very well. So Harrison Mevis, baby. M-I-Z.
Oh, yeah, Vic, do you like the shot or do you want it a little bit further out?
No, I think the shot's good.
Okay.
The shot looks great.
All
Vic
right,
looks like that's it. That's all that is. No sleep last night. Yeah. Oh, yeah. So much fun. Happy, happy, joy, joy. 6:53 on a Monday morning. It is November 24th. If you guys want to check in, promote St. Louis, we're all St. Louis all the time. Other headlines or things that involve St. Louis when it comes to news headlines, sports, water cooler talk, you got it going on. It's November 24th, which means in 2 nights we have the Guns and Hoses event. It's just a really, really cool deal. Maybe we have to try to get Jesse Finney on. He puts those fights together. Just a phenomenal job. I think they're about sold out. You can watch the event on Fox 2 as well. And all of the money obviously goes to support backstoppers and the families who've been left behind after first responders have died, passed away in the line of duty. And they go on and they support those families for life. And that takes a ton, and I repeat, a ton of money to do. And this is their biggest event of the year. This is what they can do for them. And just such a huge, huge, huge event. And there really isn't anything like Guns and Hoses in the country. You're familiar with it. If you're not, firefighters taking on police and boxing matches and other sort of fights, UFC related, whatever, in the ring at Enterprise Center. Lots of local celebrities involved. Just trying to make the most of what we can to support. I've always talked about what a giving city this is and the amount of money that is given and put out to charities and organizations all throughout the St. Louis area. Oh, yeah. If you guys don't like the list of restaurants, then you got to tell us who you like. Somebody said, I don't agree with the list. And I'm like, okay, well, then you've got to give another list. Give us an idea of what else we should be talking about, or add the list. Who should be, what other restaurant should be on the list that may not have made it according to Yelp's, I guess, readers or the people who jumped in to make sure that was happening, giving their ideas of what would be happening. By the way, too, when it comes to the weather forecast for this week, today's supposed to be in the 50s for high. Maybe a little rain in the afternoon. High is 55. That's not too shabby. Tomorrow, you're looking at a possibility of more rain. You're looking at, temperatures around 58. And then the rest of the week, it just gets flat down cold. Get ready for it. I mean, literally, Wednesday and beyond, you're talking about highs 44, 42, 37, 38, 35, 36, 38. Welcome to winter temperatures as your highs. That comes here. And, just get used to it. That's what happens. We get to the end of November. You go into December. That's what you expect it to be. Expect it to be a little bit more chilly. And that's all right. It could be worse. Once again, it could be worse. So we'll figure that out too. We'll continue to get that going on. By the way, if anybody went down to the first Winterfest, let us know how that was. The first Winterfest day, it kicked off on Saturday at Keener Plaza. They've got a lot of music. They've got movies downtown. They've got hot chocolate. They've got warmed igloos. They've got all sorts of things going on downtown that will run parallel with the U.S. Figure Skating Championships and end on the same day as those, as that moves into the first week of December, right before the Olympics start in February. So that's another really cool event that we talked about last week when it comes to St. Louis and some of the things that are going on this winter to promote the city and so forth. So it is 6:57 on a Monday. It's November 24th. Jump in on the show if you want on X, Facebook, and YouTube. We'll try to get to your comments as well. The phone number is 855-282-8255. We are your Lou information station. We are live and on demand at louinfo.com. We'll preview the Blues coming up. What's ahead for Mizzou this week? SLU men's soccer headed to the Sweet 16. Congrats to the team on what they have done so far. Your other news headlines and anything else you guys want to talk to. It is Thanksgiving week. Happy Thanksgiving week to you, St. Louis. We'll be back with more of the show right after this. anything and everything that you guys want to do. Any people, any charities, any restaurants, things, we'll do that too. Coming up at 7:30, we'll have Charlie Metzger, does a phenomenal job throughout the St. Louis area with the St. Louis Hero Network. They have an event coming up on December 13th, the 12 Bars of Charity. Hopping around, promoting, having a good time, December 13th. We'll talk more about that. Also get into what is happening with the Hero Network throughout the year, because they really do a ton of good for the entire area. Speaking of charities and things going on, 2 nights from now, Guns and Hoses. It's on Fox. You can watch it on Fox. If you haven't been, it really is. It's just in my humble opinion, it's a really cool event to be a part of. Backstoppers raising money for the families who have lost loved ones, who are the breadwinners for their families, first line workers who have passed away. They go on to support them for life, and there's a lot of money that goes into that. This event raises over $1 million. They've done a phenomenal job. Jesse Finney putting those fights together, second to none, what he does with his company. So many people with the money, the charitable organizations, Steve Holly crew, everybody that have put this together, seen this through over the years. I mean, it's second to none. I've lived in several markets across the country, worked in several markets, and it should make you feel proud that it's a St. Louis thing. And, I've done it several times. As of now, I'm not going, but I'll watch some of it on TV. Get out there and check it out. Check out Guns and Hoses if you get a chance, and see what happens with the firefighters battling the police, and the thing, and a variety of combat, boxing, UFC type matches, men and women. But the thing I love about it, it's all respect from both sides, total respect. And these people who are competing, dedicate their time, all year long training to come out and get involved in these events. And more power to them. All kinds of credit goes to them for what they're doing. From a weather standpoint this week, we were talking about the temperatures. Might get into 61 today, into the 50s today, maybe 55, possibly 60 tomorrow for the high. But then the rest of the week, you're talking about highs in the 40s, maybe even 30s. That's how cold it was supposed to be. We start to get our first longer stretch of cold, and that can be an issue. You just have to get used to it again. You've also got Thanksgiving week coming up on Thursday. Of course, we were talking about Guns and Hoses Wednesday. Thanksgiving, of course, on Thursday. And the Thanksgiving travel rush has already began. I didn't realize this, but the busiest travel day of the week was yesterday on Sunday throughout the St. Louis area. AAA and Lambert told us about 24,000 people came through Lambert yesterday, and no real problems. All real positive to report from the standpoint of getting people in to see their families. Most of the travel this year, and AAA is also saying it's going to be a record year when it comes to travel, but most of that travel is not being done via the airlines. It's being done via car. People traveling over 50 miles. The criteria for that polling came over 50 miles where people would be driving to see friends and loved ones. I'd be curious to find out if that's kind of where you guys are as well this year when it comes to your travel, what kind of plans that you guys may or may not have, and moving forward from that standpoint. So if you guys got plans this weekend, we'll get into that. Another vibe that we'll talk about through this week are, I never knew that there were people who did not like turkey. One of my former radio co-hosts did not like turkey. He despised turkey. Anything and everything turkey, he despised. He was the first person that I ever met. Then I was listening to some national ESPN guys early in the morning. Right, they do not like turkey. And I'm like, what? There were 2 people talking about not liking turkey. Dan Orlovsky from ESPN does not like turkey. And I was like, what the heck are you talking about? Did not like turkey. The guy that's on early in the mornings and we drive in on radio, maybe Evan. Maybe Evan is his name. I can't think of his last name, but a national ESPN. Oh, I'm not a turkey guy. And I'm like, really? All these people who do not like turkey. Blew my mind. No idea.
I have to have a turkey leg on my plate.
Yes. I don't care. White meat, dark meat, legs, man, just so good.
I like the white meat for sandwiches and the dark meat just eat.
Ooh, what a great, you know what? I think I'm following you on that. Yeah. I like the call, right, guy? I'm right with you, my man. And when it comes to food, we know you can chime in because you got your food deals. And then, of course, you got your turkey delights.
Yeah, but it's a holiday week now. I'm not thinking about any fast food. I need to eat turkey, mac and cheese. I need to eat good food.
Yeah. Favorite sides also, you can jump in on that over the next couple of days. It just seems like every family might have a side that is really, really good. Maybe something that's been passed down from your grandmas, your aunties, your great grandmother, whatever the case, that some really good dish has been passed down that people absolutely love. What is it? Let us know. We'll start getting you going on a Monday. That's for sure. Hey, something else. Oh, shoot. You know what it's like, guys, to lose internet? It's like, come on, really? We've had some of those days, right? We were like, what's going on with my technical things? And I don't care how good you are from a tech standpoint. Every now and then you're going to have a situation that's going to challenge you. I promise you. And guess what? One of those days is today over here at our wonderful J. Randolph Jr. Studios when it comes to our tech. But we fight through because that's what we do. 7:12 on a Monday morning, November 24th. Enjoy the day. Feels like winter's coming in this week. Not so bad today and tomorrow. Around 55 today, around 60 tomorrow. But then the rest of the week we were just talking about, not so great. Chance of rain today and tomorrow as well. So do your best with that. Just know that it's coming. People finishing out their work weeks this week. I know a lot of college kids are back in town. If the is you, please try to have the best of times with those people as well. We talked a little bit earlier about Mizzou when it came to the football side of things. Lost at Oklahoma over the weekend. Coulda, woulda, shoulda. It's been one of those seasons for Missouri. Bottom line is they're 7-4. They're headed to Arkansas this week. And if they're not careful, they could mess around and lose that. They shouldn't. They're far better. They have superior talent, but you got to keep that team together and make sure that they don't check out before that last game of the year, because I guarantee that Arkansas is tired of getting their butts beat, and Missouri has been beating down Arkansas. And if Arkansas ever had a chance to get a win, it's right now when nobody's expecting it. So it's like, okay, all right, here we go. Hey, another big shout out, because, you know, we're all things St. Louis all the time. News headlines, sports, so forth. You guys let us know. Water cooler talk. And that is congratulations to the SLU men's soccer team. They have now advanced to the Sweet 16 of the NCAA Division I soccer tournament. They had a nice win yesterday. First of all, they opened up with a victory over Kentucky. They were down in that game 1-0, came back and won 2-1 on 2 goals by Jack DiMaria, the freshman from the St. Louis area. Then yesterday, and that game was at Herman Stadium. That game was at home. Then yesterday, SLU went to Indiana, another soccer powerhouse over the decades, just like SLU, and beat them 1-0. So now, in the round of Sweet 16, SLU this Sunday, so SLU doesn't play till this coming up Sunday. They have a match at Bryant at 6 p.m. Bryant. So SLU will be taking on Bryant. By the way, the winners then would play in the quarterfinals, which are on December 5th and 6th. It would just be so cool to see this SLU soccer team, who does play some really, really good defense, make it. I don't know if they're favorites in that Bryant game or not, but there's some other really good soccer programs that are still left. Oh, was that me? It's like, go figure what wonderful with our laptops. And I'm like, I have no idea what I just did there. So there you go. SLU playing once again this Sunday after they advance. Congrats to them in regards to the schedule that is happening and what they have going on. Also, anything else that you guys want to promote, you can do that too. We were talking about a guest that we have coming up when it comes to promoting St. Louis, and that's Charlie Metzer. He will be in studio at 7:13, or excuse me, around 7:30, promoting the 12 bars of December. And there's so much charitable work that goes on in this area, as we were talking about. So anyway, we'll be getting into that as well. By the way, your Chiefs, for you Chief fans out there, and there's a lot of them in the St. Louis area, were you nervous? Were you chewing your fingernails off yesterday, seeing the season come to an end until the Chiefs and Patrick Mahomes made plays that helped them win the game? Just special congratulations. The Chiefs were literally, they were down. If they lost at home to the Colts, I think they were done. They found a way to win. They are now moving forward. They're still not into the playoff picture yet, but we know we don't get bet against the Chiefs. You just don't. Not with Patrick Mahomes. Not with Mahomes doing what he did. And of course, the NFL, if you guys wanted to jump in, there's so many NFL fans in the St. Louis area on anything that surprised you from the weekend. Maybe the fact that the Cowboys actually beat the Eagles last night. The Rams really made the Buccaneers look pedestrian, so to speak, really bad right out of the gate. And Baker Mayfield didn't look that great either early on. He didn't. And then he got hurt. So anything else surprise you from the weekend, you can let us know there as well. The Blues getting back into action again, enjoying their East Coast road trip. They lost the first two games clearly. Second game, they didn't play bad. They actually had a 2-0 lead, lost that game. However, on Saturday, they jumped out to a 2-0 lead and held their lead this time against a pretty good Islanders team. They ended up winning that game 2-1. So now the Blues will try to make it 2 in a row. What would that mean? That would mean a whole lot tonight. They stayed in New York, enjoying their time in the Big Apple. They'll be skating with the Rangers tonight. The Blues 7-9-6. The Rangers just a little bit better at a 10-11-2 mark. After tonight's game, the Blues will get back to action on Wednesday, finishing up their 5-game Northeast road trip that started in Canada and would finish in New Jersey on Wednesday night. And what a cool weekend when we talk about things heading on in the St. Louis area. Obviously, Guns N' Hoses on on Wednesday. You've got Thanksgiving on Thursday. The Blues come back for back-to-back contests this weekend. Friday night at home, Saturday night at home. They're off on Sunday, and then they play again on Monday. We talked about SLU soccer being in action on Sunday. How about Mizzou men's basketball? They have a game Friday night. They host Cleveland State. Then after that, they got a couple big matchups, some big games or games that at least appear bigger than ones they've had recently. They'll be at Notre Dame on December 2nd, which we'll get into next week. And then December 7th, they play at number 24 Kansas. So basketball season is here. We love to talk about it. We love to see some of those things that are happening. Mizzou looks like they've got a pretty competitive team this year, and they're still trying to kind of put all the pieces of the puzzle together because there's a lot of talent. Coach Gates likes to play with a lot of players. Same thing with SLU basketball. So SLU plays in their tournament. This is an interesting one. Now, they had it scheduled, unless I was wrong, for Thursday. So their game was scheduled for coming up Thursday at Santa Clara. Santa Clara is a pretty good team. They were a tournament team last year, and they're better this year, Rye. Santa Clara is. They're better. They got more parts this year.
I think they're like undefeated or something too.
I wouldn't doubt it. SLU's undefeated. Santa Clara is also undefeated. They are 6-0.
Mm-hmm.
So that's a 6 p.m. game Thursday. You can watch it on CBS Sports Network as well. And they'll be playing out in Palm Desert. I could think of many worse places to be than playing at the Acrusia Arena. The Acrusia Arena in Palm Desert. So that's Thursday night, 6 p.m. for SLU men's basketball. And yeah, Santa Clara 6-0, SLU 5-0. Nice early season test, if you will, for the Billikens and what they can do coming up this year, moving forward with everything else that we have seen. I don't know. Just a lot of things going on in this holiday week. We talked about the travel with people coming back into town. Right now, a lot of kids back in town. The travel week and the actual Thanksgiving week starts on the weekend. I always thought it was like Tuesday, Wednesday. There are schools. Some schools are even off this full week. Some of the girls' private schools, some of the guys off the entire week. Had no idea that people would be dealing with that. So that's for sure. I thought this was a very interesting proposal as well that it came out in St. Louis. I don't know how it would work. I know it sounds great on the surface, but then you got to figure out how you would do this. But St. Louis Mayor Kara Spencer's proposed free college for public school graduates. So what she has said is the goal would be for every St. Louis public school student grad to get at least 1 year of paid education at community college, a trade school, or a training program. I love the idea. How are you going to do it, Mayor? That would be awesome. She said, or at least her quote is, now, it's one thing to come up with ideas, and that's great, but you don't want to have ideas that are just, this wouldn't it be great if we could do this, but where is the A to B, the B to C of the plan? So she came out and said this, and what she said was, it could be transformative for the city and not that expensive. Yeah, it could be, but how are you going to do it? She said the idea would be to offer every one of those students at least 1 year of paid secondary education, community college, trade school, or training program, which we've talked about. And then as for the funding source, the mayor said that it could be something from the private sector, philanthropy, and so forth. Yeah, it would be great, but you're not that far removed, Producer Rye, from doing that. Now, you weren't a St. Louis public school graduate, but 1 year free community college, trade school, or something of that nature, paying for it. If you're coming out of school, is that going to make you want to be at a St. Louis City public school? This is all about getting people back into St. Louis City.
I don't know. I think it's depending on each person, but I could see somebody that couldn't go to like a private school or couldn't get in the right district could see that opportunity, of course. But.
Well, I mean, it's certainly, I haven't heard that idea before, but why not? I mean, if you can make it work, why not? I don't know. We got to have new thinking where I was like, okay, well, this needs to work out in St. Louis City. This needs to be different. This needs to be better. Well, you got to have ideas. At least it's an idea. I don't know. I like it. I'm glad they're trying to get something done from that standpoint. 7:24, by the way, on this Monday morning, November 24th. Glad you're with us. This is Arch City Now. If you want to jump in on the phone lines, as always, you can do that. We leave those open for you. 855-282-8255. Once again, that's 855-282-8255. If you're traveling, if you want to jump in from your experiences, what you saw this weekend, if you have advice for anybody, you can also jump in on X, Facebook, and YouTube. Once again, that's X, Facebook, and YouTube. You go to Arch City Now. Of course, we get your comments out there and move that through. I had no idea that Sunday before Thanksgiving is the busiest travel day of the year in St. Louis. Sunday is the Sunday that we just had yesterday. TSA, by the way, expecting more than 218,000 people to fly out of St. Louis over the 11-day rush as families are moving around. I think it's extended. Now, I know it's like, back in my day, an 11-day Thanksgiving Day rush weekend. I don't know. I just remember for me and being in the St. Louis area and doing it, just like, I look at Guns and Hoses as the start of Thanksgiving. It's like on Wednesday. That's the start of Thanksgiving, not the weekend before, but I guess that's what it is. By the way, TSA projecting, and we've talked about AAA saying that this is expected to be the busiest travel day this year. And what they mean by travel is traveling more than 50 degree or traveling more than 50 miles, either by a car or vice versa. Was that my laptop again? Damn, I did it again. I got to turn that thing off. It jumps in there. Traveling more than 50 miles by car. Most of the travel this year is not being done via the plane. It's being done your vehicle or somebody else's vehicle. But with that being said, the people who are traveling with the airlines, 218,800 departing passengers over the 11-day Thanksgiving travel period. That's an increase this year of about 8%, believe it or not, to last year's 202,000 when it came to the departing passengers. So we don't know what kind of plans you guys have, what you're doing. Obviously, you know some of the things that we've put on there. We'll be talking about it today, tomorrow, Wednesday. When it comes to the best Thanksgiving Day dishes in the St. Louis area, is there something that should be synonymous with St. Louis as well when it comes to some of these areas and these meals that we have and what we like to do in the St. Louis area? All right. I'm going to go ahead and I want to take a break here. When we come back, you guys want to stick with us. Charlie Metzger is that me again? Why won't that be quiet? Sorry about that. I get back on the internet, and of course we found it. And when we found it, we got that. How much fun is that? Charlie Metzger with the St. Louis Hero Network. Coming up next, we'll take a quick break. We'll come back. We'll talk about the 12 days of bars starting. That's December 13th. Charlie will tell us all about it, but not just this event. Charlie he's in the studio. He's all around. He does more work. I mean, seriously, Charlie, when you come back, we'll talk about it. I don't know if I see anybody else doing more around the St. Louis area than you do when it comes to charity and what the St. Louis Hero Network does. We'll let you know how you can get involved, everything that's going on, and just promote an incredible organization. We know there are several of them in the St. Louis area. If you want to jump in when we're here and we come back with Charlie, you can do that as well. The phone number is 855-282-8255. You can also jump in on X, Facebook, and YouTube. We are your Lou Information Station. We are live and on demand at louinfo.com. Back with the show right after. Now here Monday through Friday, 6 to 8 a.m., broadcasting live in Kirkwood from the J. Randolph Jr. 590 studios. We are live. We are at it every day, all things St. Louis all the time, whether it's news headlines, sports, the water cooler talk, the charitable events, and there are several of them going on in the St. Louis area. That's what we're about. That's what we love to do. Appreciate you being with us at 7:34 on this Monday morning, November 24th. It is Thanksgiving week. A lot of people traveling, a lot of people here. You can kind of feel the holiday spirit in the air. I can. I see it. I feel it. And we're here to have a good time, get you started on your work week. By the way, Hot Take Central 2.0 follows us Monday through Friday, 8 to 10 a.m. The former Blue, Cam Jansen, comes in along with Cardinals broadcaster Jim the Cat Hayes. From 10 to 11 on Mondays, we do our MIZ STL show. That's Grant Salzman and myself talking all things Mizzou all the time. And, of course, Monday through Friday from 11 to 1, it's Charlie Tuna and the Posse. And for a list of all the content that we do here at Lou Info, just go to louinfo.com. Once again, that's louinfo.com. We talk about promoting charitable events. We talk about promoting St. Louis, and there's none better than what the St. Louis Hero Network does with Charlie Mesker. Charlie, thanks for joining us this morning. If you could just let everybody know what, again, you do, your title and everything you do with St. Louis Hero Network, because this isn't your full-time job. You're actually a firefighter first, and you do this somehow, some way in your spare time.
So, yeah, I've been a firefighter, full-time firefighter at the St. Louis City Fire Department for 19 years, coming up on 20 years. The seed was planted early in life. My dad was a city firefighter. My uncle was a head of homicide, exact same namesake, Charlie Metzner III. So we all were, city first responders. So, we were out there to want to serve a community. And I was doing firefighting for about 11 years, and I think it was time for me to take the next step and, serve my community in a new way. And I started the Hero Network.
Okay. So the whole goal of St. Louis Hero Network was to do what? To
promote and market first responder and veteran-owned businesses. And we do that by connecting our first responders and veterans to the community and allow our community to support them and their family by promoting and supporting and marketing these 200 and something first responder and veteran businesses here locally in St. Louis.
Well, when I came back to the St. Louis area in 2015, we connected. I was like, wow, the things that Charlie Metzger and his staff does is absolutely amazing. You got some events. It's busy this week. It's busy through the month of December, but I've talked about being in several markets, working in several markets, and asking people from all across the country if they've seen anything like Guns N' Hoses. And there isn't anything like it.
People have come from Texas. People have come from Louisiana. People have come from all kinds of states to try to replicate what we do here in St. Louis. St. Louis is a special town. It gets behind things it believes in, like this first responders and veterans. And there's no other city that's been able to do what we do year after year for Guns N' Hoses, benefiting Backstoppers.
It's over $1 million every year, isn't it?
We're going to blow that away this year.
I mean,
I don't know the number, but we're going to blow it away.
I'd love to hear it. And it's something like I haven't seen. And I know that we're always looking for things. At least we do. We try to promote St. Louis with this show. And people who are from here, we do, because we know there's enough things that aren't necessarily positive. And we hear the stats and we hear figures about St. Louis City or St. Louis County. And I know we have our issues, and you can't fix problems until you admit that there are. We have issues, but we also have a lot of positives, and it's fun to talk about the positives. Thursday night is that. How are you guys helping with that event?
Wednesday night, the 26th, Guns N' Hoses. It's the St. Louis tradition. And it's just amazing to see these first responders crawling in that ring, crawling in that ring, fighting their hearts out for those who lost someone in the line of duty.
They train year round, don't they? It seems like it. There's some damn good talent.
Well, you got to remember before, say 6-7 years ago, they were all amateur boxers. So it was just like, just swing about, people just going in there and swinging it out. So like 6-7, I think it's like 6-7 years ago. Yeah, sounds right. They introduced pro boxing. So yeah, those people are fighting all year for this match and whatever match. Actually, my wife was one of the first pro fight ever.
I love it. Remember what year that was by chance? I'm curious. When you try to go back in the way back
6-7 years ago. It was the first pro one.
That's awesome.
So I would say 19 maybe.
Do you spar with
20?
her?
No. So
you don't want any part of that. Talking with Charlie Metzer of the St. Louis Hero Network and a St. Louis City firefighter. You brought some bottles with you too when it comes to gun. Is that for the Guns and Hoses?
It is for
raffle?
Guns and Hoses per se. So the St. Louis Hero Network, for example, from acquired new sponsorships, selling tickets. I sell like 400 to 600 tickets every year. Selling merchandise. The St. Louis Hero Network brought in $152,000 for Guns and Hoses last year, which benefits Backstoppers. And one of the ways was that I didn't mention is our bourbon raffle, which we started last year. And so what we have is a whole lineup of Pappy Van Winkle. We have a Weller Rainbow. We have a 6-bottle lineup of Blanton's and so on and so on. There's tons of different prizes you can win. The grand prize obviously is a Pappy. It's probably worth $8 to $10 grand. I got a bottle here in front of me of 15. That's my personal favorite out of the vertical. And then a bottle of 20.
There you go. How do people sign up, or how can people get into that?
The easiest way, I mean, we have a direct website for the raffle, but the easiest way is to go on the STLHeroNetwork.com and look at our featured events, or go to our social media. Network. Social media, we have tons of different posts on there about the raffle.
Well, that's coming up with Guns and Hoses, such a huge event coming up on Wednesday night. We've talked about that. We've been talking about that. But I also wanted to promote what you have coming up in December when it comes to the 12 bars, December 13th. This isn't the first year you've done this.
Yeah, it's kind of a fun story. So when I originally set out to be a part of 12 Bars of Charity, you're up there with Make-A-Wish. You're up there with Stray Rescue. You're up there with St. Jude, World Pediatric, Gene Slade's Boys and Girls Club. You're like, I'm just super aggressive. So we were 9 months old, and I approached Bobby Kahn, who was running it, the whole thing by back then. He's still somewhat part of it, but he's like, I love it. He goes, I know you guys will do well. You guys are just too green. He goes, I'm not going to pick you this year. We were 9 months old. By then we would have been a year old or so. He goes, but next year I'm not interviewing anybody else. Because what they did in the past is the worst place team, because it's a competitive contest. The worst place team, there's 8 nonprofits or charities, gets kicked out in a new nonprofit or charity. Oh,
it's just like European soccer.
Right. So he's like, the next year you're in. I'm not even going to interview anybody else. By then, if you're still around, obviously, you'll be 2 years old. We'll be good. And that's how we got in. So we're in with these huge nonprofits. I mentioned some of them. Some other ones are World Pediatric, Young Kids with Cancer, ALS. But we've never finished worse than 4th out of these 8 nonprofits.
And when you talk about finishing, how do you finish higher so that people understand?
So you basically buy whatever color sweatshirt is under your flag. So this year we're charcoal gray. We've been black, navy, military green. We've been all these colors. And a lot of times people just buy it based on color. Obviously, everything. You got to remember the demographic. A lot of them are 21 to 25, maybe 21 to 29, going on these pub crawls. It raises a crazy amount of money every year, and Stray Rescue wins every single year. They've never been beaten, even when it was in Clayton. And but yeah, we've ranked as high as 3rd, but we never ranked lowest and 4th. And to be up there with those nonprofits I just named it feels pretty good. I think it's because we as a whole, and I'm probably pounding my chest a little bit, we as a whole probably promote the event more than any of the nonprofits as the event as a whole than any of the other ones.
So remind people again, or let them know how they can log on and buy sweatshirts to promote the St. Louis Hero Network in this charity. And it's all for a good cause, as you know, and it's all wonderful competition because it's a win-win for everybody.
Yeah, partying with the cause. So what you would do is go on, like I said before, you go on STLHeroNetwork.com under our featured events, or go to 12 Bars of Charity website, or either of our social media outlets. It's black, but it's just blast all over there. The thing with our social media and on Facebook, at least, if we sneeze, we put it on there.
Yeah,
So.
I get it. Charlie Metzner, St. Louis City firefighter, also with the St. Louis Hero Network. You created that. You had a vision for it, and you do a phenomenal job here. I'm not just saying it because you're here, but you really do. And your social media is aggressive, and it's great. And even for people who get slammed and busy like myself, even if I hadn't talked to you for a while, you're still messaging. You're letting people know, hey, we got this bourbon event, and we get those messages out. And if we didn't hear from you, maybe we wouldn't do it. So, I mean, kudos to you for the job that you've done. When it comes to the real life work that you're also doing, when it comes to being a firefighter, which is a serious job, and it's not easy for anybody to do. Where do you see the state of firefighting being in the area? For example, I've always thought that it was a super competitive job, and I still get asked, and I was asked 3 weeks ago, Vic, I know you know a lot of people. What is the best way to get in with a firefighting opportunity in the St. Louis area? How have you seen the industry change right now, or what is something that you'd like to let people know about maybe?
Well, when I was coming out of high school, like getting a job even as a city police officer was considered like almost like winning a golden ticket. Like, no, you had to know somebody. You had to be like Charlie Metzner's nephew, for example, to get like in. And now it's like, they're what, 200, 300, 400 people down.
For police or fire?
For police.
Yeah, for police. Yeah, I know about
for
that.
Police.
I didn't think it would be that way for fire.
So fire in the last, I would say there's two causes, I think, for the fire competition to be a little bit down. I think one is since COVID, people found alternative ways to make money. These young kids, 20 to 30, found different ways to not, get into like, public service work. But the other thing is, you also got to remember, a lot of the departments 30, 35 years ago went from either part-time paid or volunteer to fully staffing full-time people. And all those people are retiring like in a mass exodus. So all these openings are also opening up at the same time.
You're seeing openings from a fire standpoint all throughout the area, or just in St. Louis?
Absolutely.
How does somebody become a firefighter? I mean, because I don't think, when you think of firefighting, you're like, oh, battling a fire. But there's a whole nother aspect to this job that I don't think people understand.
It's a long process. It's not just a long process of different steps you have to take to get to the point where you can apply for a top tier job. It's also a waiting game and a lot of luck, and it's still a lot of networking and nepotism. So
when it comes to that in the area,
right? So your first step is going to be, I teach at the city and county fire academies. So the first step I usually tell people is, get your EMT license.
Yep.
That's one semester. You're not committing a lot. Go to community college. And then after that, you can apply for the best academy to apply for. And we give out scholarships to the police, fire, and EMS, different academies throughout the region through the St. Louis Hero Network. But I tell people to apply for the St. Louis County Fire Academy because that one's good everywhere. So you can get certain academies like the City Academy. If you go through the city, if you go to be a city firefighter, you have to go to the City Academy. It doesn't matter what academy you have. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it does.
If you go to the St. Louis County Fire Academy, you can go to St. Charles, you go to Jefferson County, you go anywhere and get a job because that's the Fire 1, Fire 2 state certification.
Well, I've always had a soft spot in my heart. My dad was a police officer as well in the Metro East. My grandpa was a long-time firefighter in East St. Louis, became a deputy coroner, Bob Shea, over in St. Clair County. And then my cousin, keeping it going, Ian Shea, shout out to Afton.
Oh, yeah. We talked about that.
Yeah, so give those guys a shout out from police and fire when it comes to the St. Louis area. I'm excited about the situation. Right now, this may be one of the first years because I had some other plans going on, not being at Guns and Hoses. I admit it. I love it. I love getting down there. Somebody just asked me about, is it really that much fun? I was like, yeah, it really is. Just the whole atmosphere. And it seems like it gets better every year. And I saw last Friday there were still some tickets available. I don't know if that's still the case or not.
There is some tickets lingering out there, not many. Last year, I don't think we sold out. We always sell out. I don't think last year we sold out. This year, I pretty much can guarantee a sell out. If you're looking for tickets, like I said, I usually sell 400 to 600 tickets. I'm completely sold out, but there is a weigh-in tonight, and it's open to the public at Helen Fitzgerald, where all the guys basically get weighed in.
Is that tonight? Is weigh-ins tonight?
4 to 6 at Helen Fitzgerald.
Okay.
And anyone's welcome to come. The guys, pose and the boxing, and get weighed in and make sure that they, met their weight. And Steve Holly, you mentioned that this event gets better and better every year. That's him.
Steve Holly.
That is
amazing
literally him. Like if there's somebody, I feel like I'm really good at this nonprofit charity thing and how to make it work and win. But there's nobody I look up to more in the world than Steve. And I tell him all the time, I go, and I'm part of the Guns N' Hoses family. So I always tell him, I'm like, thank you for allowing me to be a part of something this awesome.
I had a chance to meet Steve. Can you remind everybody what his title is and what he does with Guns N' Hoses?
So Steve Holly is the executive director of Guns N' Hoses. He is the person who runs the show. And it is the St. Louis tradition. David Stokes.
Yep.
He's the CEO of Gray Eagle. Great man. He's the president of Guns N' Hoses. But, just like most presidents, he's the figurehead. He's the face, But Steve is the operational powerhouse.
I thought Jesse Finney was the face.
Oh,
or maybe Jesse wants to be the face.
You can just sometimes I call him the face. He's just because I'm like, you're so pretty. He's getting older, but he's pretty.
Never seen a former fighter with a pretty face.
Yeah, but he's vice president of Guns N' Hoses. So I mean, he brought in and helped Steve evolve the event in the way of the actual matches.
Yeah.
So he brought it. He was kind of pushing the pro boxing a little bit. But he's completely almost gets credit for bringing in the MMA.
Yeah,
so.
And you know what? I like it. I think it adds a little bit more mix to it. I mean, I know we're all different, but I'm glad they added it. I really am.
Well, it's all these people I'm mentioning, I mean, have been a part of making this event bigger. Everyone has a role. I have a role. Obviously, the people I mentioned have huge roles. Steve mentioned we have 300 volunteers. There's no organization or event that has people that devoted and that into where they make it like I kind of make it like my full-time job for a month or two every year.
On top of St. Louis Hero Network, on top of being a St. Louis firefighter.
Yeah, there's more stuff.
Yeah.
I do more stuff.
Hey, I don't mean to put you too much on the spot, but I love to give people credit, especially in the St. Louis area. And that's what this show is about too. Are there any other organizations that we can shout out this morning for being a part with St. Louis Hero Network and or Guns N' Hoses for what they're doing, what they're trying to help? Because many times these corporations or people, it just seems like it's the nature of the business. They're quiet. They don't want business. They don't want the shout outs. They just want to help.
Right. Well,
so I try to make sure that we throw light on them.
You asked me like I'm in all doing all these stuff. Well, I'm also a loan officer and I own a construction company. So I want to bring up my boss who's
please do. That's what this is for.
So my boss, his name's Randy Morgan, and he gives $80,000 to Guns N' Hoses every year. He just got on the board of Guns N' Hoses.
Wow.
I think last year or maybe the year before.
What's your boss's name?
Randy Morgan.
Okay.
So the Randy Morgan team and Imperial, but that's only part of it. He actually gave us like Stray Rescue $200,000 a year. He has Guns N' Hoses and Stray Rescue in his will because he don't have kids. So like he literally is one of the best people I know.
This guy sounds like
he's quiet too. Like
they are. I'm just it's the nature of the business.
He just does it. He could use it and be like, hey, I'm Randy Moore. Look at all I'm doing for the community. Blah blah blah. He hopes that the people involved in these organizations that he's helping are going to, that business would come back to him. But he's not out there saying, look what I'm St. Louis, look what I'm doing.
Well, he's planting seeds.
Right.
And we know that can certainly help when it comes to those situations. So shout out to Randy. Anybody else?
Anybody else?
And I know I put you on the spot with that, Charlie. And we're talking with Charlie Metzner. He is with the St. Louis Hero Network, St. Louis City firefighter, construction company owner, loan network officer.
Right.
I've known you for a long time, and I'm learning even more, which is fantastic.
Well, there's a couple more. I quickly want to give a shout out to my best friend that I lost, Brian McKenna. He was that
Just
person.
gave me chills.
Right. He was that person that just anything he could get behind to support and help people, he was going to be on board. But another guy just really wows me. I mean, he puts it all, he plastered all over his Facebook. So like you see everything he's doing, but you know, that's just the way he is. And he puts his feelings and he wears his feelings on his sleeve. Is this guy named Billy Mayhall.
Okay.
And he literally, I watch him and he literally does the most selfless things. He reminds me of Brian a lot.
I'll check out Billy. You finally said somebody I'm not familiar with.
So Brian and Billy were similar to where you saw them every day, every other day doing good deeds and helping people. And they put it on social media. And so you'd see it. But I actually know these people. You know, like I've hung out with them. I know they're legit. I know there's nothing in it for them. They're just doing it because that's what fills their cup. And it's the same thing with me. I mean, that's the reason why I do what I do is, I mean, if there's a selfish reason why I do it, I just like to win. I just like to make that impact and win. And like I said, I was a firefighter for 11 years. I'm like, I need something more, you know, like I serve my community, but I need to take it another step.
And you have a wife that allows you to do this as well.
Right.
Yeah, that's crazy. It's awesome. It's fun. It's positive. Thank you for spending some time with us to promote everything. Once again, let's remind people before we let you get out of here how they can get in for the raffle when it comes to your bourbon for the Guns and Hoses raffle.
The best way you can support us with this raffle, what I've noticed, like Todd Randall is a big sponsor of this. He puts a subscriber email out to his subscriber emails, and we see the needle go way ahead. Like we'll sell like 60 tickets in that day.
And what
tickets.
is that? Do you know what that link is again? The email?
What I mean is like
to let people know to go
right. So what he does is just go to our website.
Yeah, your website
and go under feature events and click on
STLHeroNetwork.com. STLHeroNetwork.com, the featured events, and you can see about what's happening with the bourbon raffle.
But that's the best way to help us with it is put it on your email subscriber, share it on social media. I mean, Todd Randall's helped, Gray Eagles helped, the St. Louis Bourbon Society's helped. When they put it out there, like you're just like, wow, look how much traction we gained just from one email.
That is insane. It's great to hear. Charlie Metzer, thank you so much for being with us. And thank you for everything you're doing, man.
Sip, savor, and support.
You say that again?
Sip, savor, and support.
Sip, savor, and support. My gosh, what a great headline. Of course, you are good at this, my friend. And thanks for everything that you're doing throughout the St. Louis area and everything else. Best of luck with tomorrow night and the 12-bar situation that's coming up. Once again, can people go to St. Louis Hero Network.com from that as well and buy the sweatshirts?
Yeah, thanks for bringing it up. So we don't want to lose. We don't want to be in 6th place, 7th place. Charcoal Gray supports first responders and veterans. Is the only one that supports that group of people. Obviously, there's lots of good nonprofits there. Go to our website. You know, go under featured events, or you can go to 12 Bars website or either of our social medias and click on Charcoal Gray and get some sweatshirts.
Charlie Metzner, St. Louis City firefighter, St. Louis Hero Network as well. If you guys want to do something, please do and support. If you know of anybody else that would love to get involved in this, let them know as well. We appreciate you guys being with us from that standpoint. Also, coming up next, Hot Take Central 2.0, Cam Jansen, the former Blue, Jim the Cat Hayes, Cardinal broadcaster, waiting to do their show. They're here taking you till 10 o'clock. And then from 10 to 11 today, it's the MIZ STL show. Grant Salzman, myself, trying to sum up where Missouri football is and also looking ahead to where Mizzou basketball is. And then following us, of course, every day, Monday through Friday, Charlie Tuna and his posse from 11 to 1 o'clock. Guys, that does it for a Monday. The fastest 2 hours in morning podcast and radio. We love you. Thanks for jumping in. For producer Rye, I'm Vic Faust. Have a great day. We'll see you tomorrow. It's